Have you ever wanted to learn how to decoupage furniture? Well, today I have a great tutorial for you. We're going to decoupage this little antique washstand with this beautiful paper, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is. Hi, my name is Cindy. I'm with reinventeddelaware.com, and we love to reinvent and repurpose all sorts of home decor and furniture, and then we love to share those tutorials with you so that you can do similar projects for your home. Let's get started. Let's go over the supplies that you're going to need for this project. First, you're going to need a piece of furniture. I chose this little washstand for this project because it's got a nice flat front, no decorative things on the front of the drawer. And I also have these recessed panels and they're flat. So I knew that I wouldn't have to work around curves or any bumps or any of that stuff. And I knew that this would be a great project for the beginner. You'll also need some other supplies. I chose to paint the whole washstand in Dixie Belle's chalk mineral paint, and the color I chose is called Fluff. And I chose that color on purpose because the background of the decoupage paper that I picked out matches that color perfectly. I also used Dixie Belle's chalk mineral paint in the color Caviar, and that helped me to create this darkness that you see as I allowed the paint to chip through. I'll show you that technique. And let's see, I used Dixie Belle's Boss. This is a stain sealer. I was concerned that some of the dark stain color was going to bleed through on the white paint, and I didn't want that to happen, so I painted 2 coats of Boss. You'll also need the clear coat. I chose the one in flat because I like the flat look. I'm not a fan of gloss or even semi-gloss. I like a matte and a flat finish. To me, it adds to the age of the piece that I'm trying to create. You'll need the best dang wax and the best dang wax brush. I almost forgot what it was called. Really, these 2 things are amazing. This is a water-based wax. It's easy to clean up, and this brush makes it going on so easy. You're going to love that product. And then also you're going to need Big Mama's Butter. At least I needed this product. This is called Big Mama's Butter, and it is an oil-based scented rub that you put on, and I use it all over on the raw wood, like on the back, on the inside and the outside of the drawer, and it just made this washstand just smell so fresh. It was a little musty. The washstand's old, so that's to be expected. And I applied it with this little chip brush. And then of course you're going to need a paintbrush. This is my favorite. It's a 2-inch angled brush, and it just makes painting just a breeze. They're easy to clean up. And last but not least, you're going to need the decoupage paper. I chose this by Bells and Whistles. Dixie Belle offers it on their website. Oh, by the way, I'll have all the links down below in the description of everything I just listed out so you can get the supplies that you need, except for the washstand, of course. You'll have to go thrifting for that. Anyway, the design that I chose is called Blue Flowers. Obviously, you can see why they named it that. And this is a rice paper that is really strong. If this is your first time decoupaging anything, I suggest that you use a really strong paper like the rice paper. You're going to have a lot less frustration. You'll get amazing results because this paper is strong. It's not like tissue paper. If I did this with tissue paper, it would rip. So if this is your first project, I really recommend you using the rice paper. The first step was to remove the damaged veneer that I had on this washstand. Not all pieces have that, so you might not have that problem. But I had some bubbling up of the veneer, so I just used a chisel and my pliers and my good old hands just to get rid of all of that veneer. The next step was to sand it down. I did a light scuff sanding, and then afterwards I vacuumed the whole thing down to get all the cobwebs and all the dust from the sanding, just got rid of it all with a shop vac. The next thing is to wash it. Of course, you've got to have a nice clean piece to get this project started. So I used Dixie Belle's White Lightning in a solution of hot water and a microfiber cloth, and I cleaned every little nook and cranny. I took the drawer out, I opened the doors, I turned it upside down, and then I just really gave it a good clean. When I was all finished, I rinsed it down with the hose, and yes, that's okay to do, so long that it can sit out in the sun and dry for the remainder of the day. So when I cleaned this piece, it was a sunny day and it was in the morning. So after I cleaned it, I set it out in the sun, I opened up the door, I took the drawer out, let everything just dry out in the sun, and it dried perfectly, no problems. I applied 2 coats of the paint that I chose to use, the color called Fluff that matches my rice paper perfectly. I applied 2 coats all over the whole piece, but before I did that, I actually used a beeswax puck to create a resist. I'm going to include the link right up here to another video that will show you the method that I use to chip and make a distressed look on furniture. I think you're going to love this technique. It's a lot of fun. It's a little scary, but it's a lot of fun. Once both coats of paint were completely dry and I did the distressing method that I showed you in that other video, it was time to apply the paper. I cut the paper to fit the inset and also another piece to fit the drawer. The drawer I had to cut in 2 different pieces, and I matched up the design the best that I could. It's not perfect and no one will know but me. Once all the pieces are cut and ready to fit, it's time to apply them, and this is super easy. I applied 1 coat of Dixie Belle's clear coat in the inset of the door, and I'm only going to work on 1 space at a time. So I just put a light thin coat with my paintbrush right on the inside of this here, and then I lined up the paper and I applied it and I smoothed it out. I got all the bubbles out and just smoothed it out and made sure that everything made really good contact, and then I left it alone to dry. I finished the next section and then I also did the drawer. Once the rice paper has been applied to all 3 sections, it's time to seal it, and I used Dixie Belle's clear coat in flat to seal it, and it was so easy. It's just brushing it on in a nice thin coat, and I did 2 coats of it just for added protection. To seal the whole piece, I used the Best Dang wax in clear, and I just went over the whole thing with this nice thick brush. This is a great brush, by the way. I really do love it. You just brush it on, you let it dry for a few minutes, and you go back with a lint-free cloth and just buff it just a little bit. And that's it. It is just that easy. Wasn't that fun? I had so much fun doing this project. I cannot wait for my next decoupage project. I'm on the hunt right now. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you do, could you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel? I would just love for you to join us here where we offer free tutorials, easy tutorials like this one here. I'll be sharing this blog post over on my blog at reinventeddelaware.com. You'll find it right over there. I'll leave a link below in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.